All right, let's get into this because you are not ready for the absolute roller coaster that is The Intruder. The story throws us straight into a nightmare scenario. A woman named Casey is trying to outrun her past by hiding out in a rickety cabin in the middle of nowhere, New Hampshire. But her past is the least of her worries right now. A monster storm is rolling in, the kind that rips trees out of the ground, and she's pretty sure her roof is about to collapse. Then, just as the sky turns black, she finds a terrified little girl hiding in her tool shed, and she is completely drenched in blood. This is our main character, Casey. She's a former teacher who's clearly running from some heavy stuff. She's tough, resourceful, and just wants to be left alone with her books and her memories. But life and her scumbag landlord, Rudy, has other plans. After she literally has to pin him to the ground just to get him to promise to fix her roof, the storm hits. Before it gets truly wild, she sees a ghostly face staring through her window. She tries to brush it off. Creepy woods, weird shadows, right? But then she sees a light on in her powerless tool shed. Someone is definitely out there. With no phone service and the wind howling like a banshee, Casey does what any sensible horror movie character would do. She grabs her Glock and goes to investigate. Inside, she finds a young, rail-thin girl clutching a switchblade and trembling. Casey's instincts kick in, and she coaxes the kid inside with the promise of food. But the second the girl steps into the light, Casey sees it's worse than she thought. It's not just a little blood. Her clothes are soaked in it. The girl, who we later learn is named Eleanor, or Nell, claims it's just a nosebleed, but come on, we all know that's a lie. Casey, against every self-preservation instinct, lets this bloody, knife-wielding child into her home. Red flag number 1,000. And just as we're trying to figure out Nell's deal, the story throws us into a flashback. We meet Ella, a sad, lonely middle schooler who is basically a professional at getting sent to the principal's office. But she's not a bad kid, she's just desperate. Her home life is a legitimate nightmare. Her mother is a compulsive hoarder, and their house is a toxic, overflowing prison of garbage, rotting food, and junk. It's so bad that her mother literally locks her in a foul, vermin-infested closet whenever she goes on a date, just to make sure Ella doesn't throw anything away. On top of the neglect, her mom is emotionally abusive, constantly belittling her. So when we see Ella stealing a sandwich at school, we get it. This kid is just trying to survive. Back in the present, Casey is playing hostess to a potential murderer. She feeds Nell, who eats like she hasn't seen food in a week, and that's when Casey spots them. Old, circular cigarette burns scarring Nell's arms. Okay, so this kid is definitely a victim. Casey's heart goes out to her, and to earn her trust, she makes an infinity promise. A sacred pact from her own childhood that you can never, ever break. She promises she won't tell anyone Nell is here. It's a sweet moment, but there's still the matter of the bloody clothes and the equally blood-stained backpack Nell refuses to let out of her sight. The story then flips back to Ella's past, and this is where things get really interesting. The one bright spot in her miserable life becomes Anton Peterson, the school's resident bad boy. After Ella saves him from getting seriously messed up in a fight by cracking his attacker over the head with a rock like a total badass, he sees her. Really sees her. He follows her home, and when he sees the squalor she lives in, he doesn't judge or mock her. He just accepts it. He becomes her first and only friend. Their bond is the one pure thing in her life. He even teaches her how to pick locks, a skill that feels like it could be her ticket to freedom. But their friendship is tragically cut short. After a popular girl, Brittany Carter, cruelly bullies Ella about her hoarder mom, Anton snaps. He loses control and brutally beats Brittany with a rock, disfiguring her. He's arrested and hauled away, leaving Ella completely and utterly alone. In the present, the tension in the cabin is thick enough to cut with Nell's switchblade. The power goes out, and while Nell is asleep in Casey's bed, Casey makes a terrible discovery. She finds Nell's notebook, and it's filled with page after page of horrifying graphic drawings of a woman being tortured and murdered. Casey is convinced the drawings are of her, that this little girl has come here to kill her. Her terror spikes when she remembers she left her loaded gun in the dresser drawer of the very room Nell is sleeping in. She tries to sneak in to get it, but it's a trap. Nell is wide awake, pointing Casey's own Glock right at her. Just as you think it's all over, a massive crash from outside, the unstable tree finally falling and crushing the tool shed, provides a distraction. Nell, shaken by the realization that Casey saved her life, marches Casey into the kitchen and ties her to a chair with duct tape. This is it, the moment from the drawings. But then, in a shocking twist, she uses her knife not to torture Casey, but to cut the tape binding her legs to the chair, ensuring Casey can eventually free herself, but not before she is long gone. After Nell leaves, Casey escapes her bonds and pieces it all together. She re-examines the notebook and the map Nell dropped. The woman in the drawings isn't her. The features are different, and the map's final destination wasn't her cabin. It was the cabin half a mile through the woods. The cabin belonging to her weirdly persistent neighbor, Lee. Nell didn't come for Casey. She came for Lee, whom she believes is the deadbeat father who abandoned her, and now she has a gun. Casey races through the storm-ravaged woods to Lee's cabin, bursting in just as Nell confronts him. And here comes the next bombshell. Lee insists he isn't her father. His brother was. And that brother, he died in a car crash 12 years ago, right around when Nell was born. He never even knew she existed. The news completely shatters Nell. Sobbing, she confesses everything. Her mother's abusive boyfriend stabbed her mom, and Nell fled in a panic, covered in her mother's blood. She was running for her life, seeking the only family she thought she had left. And this is where Casey's own dark past slams into the present. We learn that Casey is not just a former teacher. Casey is Ella. After Anton was taken away, Ella's life got even worse. The abuse from her mother escalated until one night, Ella snapped. Using the lockpicking skills Anton taught her, she escaped the closet, barricaded her sleeping mother in her room, and burned the entire house to the ground, killing her. She was placed in the system and eventually found her real father, an ex-con who understood her rage. She took his last name, Casey, and left Ella behind forever. She knows exactly what it feels like to be a desperate kid pushed to the edge. So does she take Nell to the police? Of course not. She drives straight to Nell's mother's apartment. She finds her alive, but dying. And when the woman shows zero remorse for abusing her daughter, Casey finishes the job. She tortures her with cigarettes, just like the mother did to Nell, and then kills her, staging the scene to perfectly frame the abusive boyfriend. She gives Nell what she never had, a clean slate. A true escape. The story ends 6 months later. A new, fragile family has formed. Casey, Lee, and Nell are living together, healing. It's almost a happy ending. But then the final, jaw-dropping twist is revealed. Nell shows Casey an old childhood photo of her deceased father. Casey is overcome with shock and grief as she recognizes the boy in the picture. It is Anton Peterson, her first friend and first love. And Lee, the perspective shifts to him. His real name isn't Lee, it's Bradley Peterson. He's Anton's younger brother. Anton isn't dead. He's in prison for life for murdering their own abusive father, an act of revenge after their father brutally beat a teenage Bradley. From his cell, Anton saw a news story about Ella Casey, the name she gave after the fire, getting in trouble for the baseball bat incident. Still caring for her, Anton begged his brother Bradley to move to New Hampshire to secretly watch over the girl he never forgot, Ella Casey. Lee has known who Casey was this entire time, guarding her secret while hiding his own. They were all connected by a web of trauma and secrets long before that storm ever hit. So, can a family built on such a foundation of violence and lies ever truly find peace? Or are they just destined to repeat the cycle? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you're not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more recaps. You won't want to miss what's next.